well so that we can go. Okay, good. So, as I said, the things we are going to talk about today is we are going to talk about work plan writing and activity planning, because we need to do the activity planning for the semester. So, as you guys resume from back from where you are in workplaces or home, I want you also to do that. Yeah. So, for about me, I'm Enocent. You guys, most of you guys know me. I work as the assistant CC in the Pwani University Mentorship and Volunteering Club. Yeah, and apart from that, I also do several other things, including a few companies that I run. Even so, for this is the mentorship training for the club, and what are just a small introduction of the PUMVOC family. In the Pwani University Mentorship and Volunteering Club, we have got it's a student-led, of course, initiative, and some of the dockets that we have are the 6 active dockets, include the entrepreneurship. Where for the entrepreneurship, we deal with business skills and startups. This is the things that we deal with in those in that docket. We also have got an environment where we deal with things like green initiatives and conservations. Yeah, things like the tree planting, which we usually do, and I know there are a few programs that we are running. Also, beach cleaning and green initiatives. Yeah, I was also thinking that if we venture into carbon trading, it will be a good source of income both to the club and also impacting people in how they can convert, they can use the environment well for their income. And also something else that we usually have is orphan support, which one this includes the care and the support for orphans. We also have a docket like young parents. Yeah, this includes both the male and the female. This is a students who are parents in our university and who needs our support in one way or another. Then we also have the docket that we have also is art and design. For this one is the creative expressions, where people use media or use the skills or the arts that they have to make something for themselves and also for the club, something like that. And also the last thing is that education, where we deal with the academic support and the mentorship. That's why we were headed the training in the uh, Kilifi Primary School, or let's say Kilifi Primary School. So those are the active dockets that we have in our club, and they're the things that we usually work on. Yeah, and so what we'll learn today, I want just to take you through a short preview of what we are going to learn today. And the things we're going to learn today, in just 2 skills we're going to unlock. And this one is the skill apply both in the club, in the work, and also in life. We're going to look at work plan writing. This one is turning ideas and goals into clear, actionable plans with honors and deadlines. So we're going to look at it in form of how do we set clear goals, and how are we going to say that our plans are actionable, and who are the people in charge of these plans, and what are the deadlines for this for each and every plan. Then the second thing we're going to do is activity planning, where we're going to know how to design, organize, and execute activities that actually happen, not just in paper, because sometimes you actually have plans that are just on paper, but they don't work. So we're going to look into deeper into it and see how we can plan some activities and we make sure that they are working. So those are the things we're going to handle today. The most important 2 skills we're going to do today, and so what does this mean beyond just the club? Because as I said, according to my information that I was given was that we were supposed to train together with the members. It's only that unfortunately I'm only seeing leaders in, but we were to have also the members in the club, and so this one just goes beyond the leadership in the club. It goes even to up to your own daily lives, where we are going to handle things like whether you are a leader in a docket, or you run a business out there. I know there are some of you who run some small business out there, or you manage teams at work. I know you guys are at home, you are not in school, so you are managing, maybe you are working with teams, and or simply just want to achieve a personal goal. You have your own personal goals. I know most of you guys here, you have own personal goals and you want to achieve them. So the skills you're going to do today are the foundation you're going to use for you to create a professional thing for yourself in every single day. Yeah, so those are some of the things we are going to handle today, and what that means. Okay, yeah, maybe just to be sure that you guys are in with me. Yeah, let me just see some reactions to see if you guys are still with me or I'm alone. Dennis, I can see Dennis Laventa. Yeah. What about Damaris? Damaris, are you in? Okay, good. Damaris is in. Okay, good. So those are the things we're going to do. So you're going to include the club leadership, and it's going also to be applicable for the careers. You are ready for the career and also for entrepreneurship, at the same time also for personal growth, just as an individual. Okay, good. So those are the things that we're going to handle in this one. So I want to start by, what's a work plan? What do you think a work plan is? Yeah, maybe just a work plan. This is just the roadmap that we're going to use to get results. So it's just a roadmap. So our work plan has got 5 questions that it usually answers, and every successful project starts with these five essential questions. You need to start with those 5 essential questions. They're the questions that already you guys know, you have already come across them, so they are not new question. The first question is what? Like the objective or the goal you want to achieve. So you must make sure that what do I want to achieve at the end of this activity, or what do I want to achieve and to achieve at the end of this semester. Yeah. So as a club, what do we want to achieve? Or as an individual, what do you want to achieve? Or if you are running a business, what do you want to achieve as a business? Or if you have a team, what do you want to achieve as a team? You see, the objectives and the goals that you want to achieve. So that is the question that the work plan usually answers. Another thing that the work plan usually answers is who. Who is in charge of this activity? For example, if we had an orphan support, or we had an activity for young parents, then you need to ask yourself, who is the person in charge of this activity, or is in charge of this work, or in charge of this whatever the thing that we want to do. So that one is another question that usually the work plan usually answers. Who is the person responsible for this? Yeah, the owner of the activity. Then the third question usually what is usually asked is when. So this one helps you to set specific deadlines. You can help you to set timelines for it, like time frames. You know that this one is going to take 1 month, this is going to take 1 week, this is going to take 2 days, it's going to take 1 day, and on what date and what time. So you need to make sure that all these things you're also answering that one. When you're preparing your work plan, you answer this question. When am I going to achieve it? Right? And what day will it happen? And how many hours is it going to take? Is it going to take? So something like that. So that's something that you need to make sure that you are putting into consideration when you're preparing your work plan, or when you're working on your work plan. It answers also that question. The fourth question that our work plan is supposed to answer is how. How is it going to answer to accomplish the goal that you have, or the objective that you have? So the resources that are needed. What resources do we need? Do we need money, or do we need people, or whatever something that is supposed to be that is needed? That is something that you're supposed to work on. So as a work plan, as you prepare a work plan, you need to also put that everything in detail. If it's a budget, how much is needed, and how much is going to be used to do what and what and what. Yeah, maybe people need maybe transport, or you need to ferry these guys from one place to another, or maybe you need refreshments, kind of, or maybe so a kind of a budget. If it's your own personal goal, you need to make sure that this month my expenses are maybe, let's say, like it's 30,000 or maybe 25,000. So you're making that 25,000, I'm going to maybe rent is maybe, let's say, like 8,000 or something like that. Then you are planning all your objectives. If it's a business, the same. You're planning your objectives and everything. So you need to make sure that you have a budget for each and everything that's happening there. And every approach that is needed, that one also comes under the question how. How are you going to achieve it? Yeah, every approach that is needed, every step that is needed, you make sure to write it here in how you're going to achieve that. You need also to include that in your work plan. The last question that our work plan usually answers is how we will know that you have achieved your goal, right? So here you have to include there the measurable indicators for success. If someone asked you that was that activity successful, you need to answer it using, so you need also to include in the work plan and say that if we will achieve this and this and this is how we're going to measure and know that the activity was successful. You planned in your activity that you will need 100 attendees, and they attended maybe 95 or maybe 96 or maybe those are 100 or even more. Well and good. It means that your achievement is success, because the group of people that you are planning to have managed to come. And what were you doing during that meeting? Did you do all the things that you wanted to do in that activity? So that one is also a good work plan. It has got everything that you need. A measurable way on how you're going to measure and see this is what indicates that we are successful for this activity. So that one is something that you need and is very important when you're working on a work plan. Okay, good. So that's something that you need to work on. So maybe just to see if you guys were in with me. What are the questions that that our work plan is supposed to answer? Just each one of you just give me one example. Dennis, one question that our work plan is supposed to answer is what? If you can give an explanation, well, but if you cannot give an explanation, yeah, you can also. Marina said when. Good. Another question that our work plan can answer.
Who
Yes.
is responsible? Who?
Yeah.
The
Who?
owner.
Yeah. Who is responsible? Good. Another question. Yeah, we have also what you are going to achieve, like the objectives. Yeah, how you are going to do it exactly. Yeah, good. And then another one. Okay, I don't know, Brian Billion, are you in? I want to see your reaction, please, Brian Billion. Show me your reaction so that I know you are in. And also, Faith Sydney, you can just show a reaction so that I know that you are in. Brian Billion has shown that he is in. Faith Sydney, I would like to make sure that you are in with us. Faith Sydney, we are waiting for your reaction. I think you are not in. Please try and be active so that we know that you are together with us. Okay, good. So that is questions that our work plan helps you to answer, or when you are preparing your work plan, you need to keep that in mind. Good. So think about this. A goal without a plan is just a wish. If you have a big goal but doesn't have a plan on how you're going to do it, it's just a wish. You need to write down one goal you have for your docket. For example, this semester that is coming. You have one goal for the semester that is coming. Then it's something that we're going to turn into a plan by the end of our class today, or our activity today. Okay, yeah, by the way, this is also an activity, and these activities were supposed to be planned. Us even wasting for the first wasting the first 24 minutes shows that we didn't have a good organization. But okay, no problem, or a good planning of this meeting. So as I said, a goal without a plan is just a wish. So I want you guys to, each one of you, to write down a plan yes for the docket for the coming semester. And then at the end of it all, as we are going to go through step by step on how we are going to do it, I want you guys to also write it down. You can have either a pen or you can type it in your phone or anywhere, yeah, so that we go together. Until the end of it all, we'll have a full plan, and you'll know when you are coming next semester, we'll have everything on board. Don't worry, I'll share with you also the slides so that you can always go and revise it later. But I want you to also show it. I'll say at the end, also the same way I'm also recording it. So at the end of it, I'll have this video. It will be ready. I'll post it there. If you have a YouTube channel for the club, you can post it there. But you don't have, I'll share it to my YouTube channel. Then you can also go back and review it step by step. But okay, good. So we are saying that write down your goal. This is the goal we're going to walk through it until the end of our training today. So you'll have a full goal of the objective tomorrow. So we want to look at when you are writing your work plan, which method should you use? We are going to use the SMART framework. The SMART framework is very essential when you are writing your work plan. It helps you to prepare a work plan that makes sense, or a work plan that is achievable, or something that can help you to, at the end of it all, you would say that I have achieved this. So that is what we want to look at. So the SMART framework, every goal must pass the SMART test. And this SMART test is the one that helps you. In case if the work plan passes or the goal passes this SMART test, it shows that there's a possibility that you can accomplish it at the end of it all. Okay, the first thing is that the work plan must be specific, or the goal must be specific. Write clear and well-defined goals, not just vague. So if you write down exactly what you want to achieve, as I said, goes beyond even the club. It even goes to your own personal life. Like you write down exactly what you want to do. What do I want to do? I want, maybe, for example, I want to learn. I want to learn, maybe, for example, like I want to learn data analysis, right? So you write specific. I want to learn that analysis. Maybe using Excel or using SPSS or even Python. You write specifically what you want to learn. So it must be specific. Your goal must be specific. Don't just say I want to learn. You want to learn. There are so many things in the world that you can learn. So make sure they are specific. I want to learn that analysis using advanced Excel or SPSS. That one. Or maybe you say that we want to visit children's home. We want to visit Malaysia children's home, right? So you make sure that you write that one. As you make sure that you are specific. Don't just say any general goal. Another goal is that your goal must be measurable. You can track progress and know when you have achieved it. So if you cannot measure it and see that I have achieved this and now this is I have achieved it, then that plan is not uh, it doesn't meet the SMART goal, which is the M. So the M, it must be measurable. It must have something that you can measure and say, yeah, I did it. We plan that we will have a training for people and they were to attend 100 members. And we managed to, maybe 90 of them managed to attend, or 100 managed to attend, or more than 100 people managed to attend. So you can measure and see that these are the people who came. That one, it must be what? Measurable. Must be specific and must be measurable. Another thing is that it must be achievable. Don't set goals that are not achievable. So it must be realistic. Given the resources you have, the time you have, and the team you have. For example, maybe let me say a goal that is not achievable. For example, like you want that you set a goal that we want to train, or we want to, maybe for example, that we want to have maybe an activity for young parents, 1,000 of them. If you want to organize an activity for 1,000 people, 1,000 young parents in Pwani, that's not achievable because first of all, accumulating feeding all the parents that are the 1,000 parents that are in Pwani University for a meeting is really hard. That's one thing. Another thing is that we'll need a lot of resources for us to do that. First, even the refreshments, the resources that are needed for the training and everything, and even the team that we have. The team, the time, maybe you are setting it, you are saying that you want to achieve it in 1 week. And you know it's not possible for you to achieve it in 1 week. So you make sure that you are setting something that is achievable. You look at the resources that you have, you look at the time you have, and also you look at the team that you're working with. Is it possible for you to do that? So that you can set achievable goals that are realistic. Another thing that you need to also look at is that it must be relevant, align with your club mission and Docket purpose. Yeah, don't do something that is not relating. It does not relate with what the club is, or does not relate with what your Docket does, or maybe even it does not relate even with you. If you, for example, if it's your personal life, you're trying to do something that does not relate with what you want to achieve in life. You're just doing it because people are doing it. No, you need to make sure that they align with the club mission and they align with the Docket purpose. So that is something that you must make sure that you must make sure that your goal is relevant. And the last thing is that you also need to make sure that it's time bound. It must have clear deadlines. A date. When is the activity going to happen? It's going to happen on date so and so. What time? You make sure that you write there. Everything. And if it's a training, for example, if a training, you need to tell me, you need to tell us when time is it starting and when time is it going to end. So those are something that you need to keep in mind, and they're the things that you need to work on when you're working on a work plan. So good. Also, I'm going back to also to questions. Yeah, I'm also asking the questions. So when you're working with a work plan, this is the SMART framework. So anyone who can try and give us, you can tell us one of the frameworks that we have just talked about when I was presenting. What are the frameworks?
It will be specific.
Yes, Damaris, I couldn't hear you. Oh yeah, it must be time bound. Good, CD. Huh?
I'm saying
Yes.
it should be specific.
Yeah, good. It should be specific.
Should be measurable.
Yeah, it should be measurable and should be relevant. Yeah, relevant to your docket and also what measurable. I think there's one thing that we have missed out.
Achievable.
Yes?
Achievable.
Yeah, it should be achievable. Good. Yeah, I think you guys are in with me. I love that. Good. So this is a group activity. I know time is already spent, so we won't do it, but we were supposed to do it based on the time I was given because I thought the training was 1 hour. So, but these are the things that we were supposed to do. I was thinking that because, for example, that we want to, you just the example of an orphan support docket, that we want to help orphans, right? So we were to write down a smart goal for the orphan support docket, and then we share it with the room. So each one of us was to write down what he thinks, because as much as you're not in that docket, you can be a leader there when Sid is not around. So you'll be there to represent to represent her. So I was thinking that you give us a smart goal for the orphan support, and then you share it with us. Maybe I'll just give two people an example, because CD is already here. I want CD, you can think about it and give us the smart goal for the orphan support. Yeah, just faster. Maybe I'm giving you 1 minute, each one of you 1 minute, and then anyone else who thinks that he has got a good idea, he can give us. Please let us know. You apply all the 5 smart goals, and then the smart framework, and then you give us a plan that fits in those 5 frameworks. Okay, 1 minute to each one of us. If you already have your own, you can tell us so that we can just, instead of wasting time, we can go directly to the next item. Yes, CD, or anyone who is in and he has got an answer.
Okay, let me try.
Yes.
Let me try.
Yeah, you can try.
Yeah, so for me, I will say a visit to Mwangaza Orphan.
Yes.
Yeah, that is
A visit to Mwangaza
specific where
orphan.
visit when I measure that we shall use to buy the gifts that then for 10 people, and then the time uh,
Okay.
also
Yes.
of of
Okay, I couldn't hear you well, but yeah, so maybe just a sample. For example, like you was talking about orphan support. For the orphan support docket, for example, like I've used an example here that will distribute 30 stationary packs to Kilifi Children's Home by August 30th. So, okay, for here it was supposed to be Mwangaza Children's Home. I wrote Kilifi instead of Mwangaza Children's Home. But for this, we find that it's orphan support. It has got all the smart framework. It also talked about what we are going to do, and even the deadline. It already has got the time frame. So it makes sure that your docket also has got, or your plan has got all the 5 things that are in that smart example. Because that all of it has got everything. So who are you going to? And also at the same time, also must also apply the questions, the 5 questions we talked about. Those 5 questions we talked about: when, how, what, who, and everything. You also make sure that you write it there. So for this one, I've already included who is the orphan support, the orphan support docket. Of course, for here you'll be specific and even tell us the person who is in charge of it. Maybe, for example, Faith CD. I didn't know who Faith CD was in charge of it, but maybe I could have even included there that Faith CD is one who will be in charge of the orphan support docket, and you're going to distribute that stationary packs to the Mwangaza Children's Home by August 30th, as an example. Yeah, of course. I know August 30th, you guys will also maybe be back at home. But that's a good example that I wanted just to use for this one. Okay, good. Then the next thing is that we are going to work on building your work plan step by step. So we're going to do it now step by step on how we are going to build your work plan so that we can know on how we are going to accomplish it. These 6 steps leads you to a complete work plan that you can show people and say that this is what we did, or this is what we are supposed to do. The first step is that you need to define your objective. So remember the SMART framework that we just talked about. So make sure that you define your objective. What are you trying to achieve? Write it down precisely before anything else. You write down exactly what you want to achieve. As I said, this goes beyond even the club. Even your own objective as you are back at home right now, or as you, wherever you are working, or the place you are working, make sure that you are writing that one. You make sure that you are writing it down even before you start doing anything. If you have anything, any plan for this month, or you have got any plan for this year, or you have got any plan for the semester, you make sure that you write it down exactly what you want to achieve. As I said, I want to earn 5,000. I want to earn 5,000 this month. So you write it exactly how you're going to earn that one, that money and everything. So that is the first step. Define your objective. The second is that list all the tasks required. What are the things that are required? Every small task that will be required for your work plan to come effective, make sure to write it down. So you break your goal from a bigger goal. For example, like I break it from a bigger goal, like want to visit orphan support, and then we break it down into small actionable tasks. For example, that we will start by first making people start sending the 100 or the 200 towards supporting the same goal. You write all the tasks there. Who will be in charge of the collecting that 200 from each member, or that 100 from each member, right? You make sure to writing those small tasks. So you write those small tasks down, each and everything, how everything is going to pile up until the whole plan is done. Even that day, that's the same day that the activity is going to happen. You make sure you write down every activity everything that's going to happen that day. So that one you need to write it down. What happens first, what second, what third, and what goes until the end of the day or the end of the activity. The third thing that you need also to keep in mind is that you need to assign at least one owner per task. So you write each task, you say that this so and so will be in charge of collecting the money. This one will be in charge of doing this and this. You make sure that you assign each task with a person. A person should be in charge of it. For example, it's not necessary that because Sid is in charge of orphan support, that she'll be in charge of everything, that she'll be doing each and every task. No. She can share the responsibility with others. You may be in charge of art and design, but Cindy can give you an assignment to help her in that docket. Say that you'll be in charge of organizing the entertainment that day of the activity. You'll be in charge of the entertainment. This one, you'll be the programmer that day. Or this one, for example, you will be in charge of buying the drinks or buying the snacks or buying this whatever and whatever. So you are sharing this responsibility with the people. Or you can say that you will be in charge of ferrying the people from here, from Kibaoni to Mangala Children's Home. So you organize the tuk-tuks or the pikipikis or anything that will help us to go and reach these guys. So that one is something that you need to do that. So you assign at least one owner with each task. This one, by the way, it makes your work so easy. You'll find that each and every activity will always be full of people working there, everything working effectively. Even you can also look for someone else to be in charge of organizing the guys who will be attending that activity, looking for people, making sure that spreading the word to other people. So that is something that you can also do that. So share responsibility is equals to no responsibility. Because everyone will be in charge of doing what you are supposed to do to help you in each and every step. So everything will work well. So the fourth thing that you're supposed to do is you set a deadline for each task. So you make sure that collecting the 200 shillings, the deadline is in this time frame, or maybe in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. You make sure that you write it there. Don't say that as soon as possible. So as soon as possible, there's nothing like as soon as possible. As soon as possible, no. You need to make sure that it's date so and so. It's 13th or it's 30th August. That's the deadline. So when you write their dates, it usually creates the urgency for that one to be finished. If you say that I will do it as soon as possible, it will never happen. So make sure that you write the deadline for each and every task. You also identify the resources that are needed. What is needed? The budget. How much is needed for us to do the tree planting? How much is needed for us to do the beach cleaning? right? Who are the people involved? How many people do we need for this activity? We need 100 people to help us in planting the mangroves in this area. We need maybe 50 people to help us in planting the trees in the Kilifi, in the Pwani University, maybe nursery. You see, you write there the materials that are needed. The materials that are needed will include those are plastic bags to hold the seedlings or to hold the soil for the seedlings. Also, we need the seedlings or the, if not this, yeah, we need either seedlings or the seeds for that. What's the venue? The venue for this one will be maybe, for example, like the nursery, the nursery in the Pwani University. Or if it's a training, maybe for example, it's a training on entrepreneurship. You're saying that the venue will be GS5, or for example, it will be LTN Hall. You need to make sure that you are writing there the venue or the place you're going to do. If it's beach cleaning, which beach are you going to clean? There are so many beaches. You know, we're going to do Summer Beach, we're going to do Mazingira Beach, we're going to do this beach. If it's planting of mangrove, where are we going to plant? You make sure that you also write there the place you're going to plant. So the venue is very important. All the resources that are needed. Plan for what you need before you need it. So you plan for it before you need it. Good. And the last thing is that you review and adjust weekly. So as time goes by, when you already complete one task, make sure that you are check marking on that work to make sure that everything is working. You check mark on it that this one has been complete, or this one it hasn't been complete. This one, so who is supposed to be on this one? For example, if you find that another activity that was to happen and it doesn't happen, so you follow up with the person who is supposed to do it and say that, you know what, Marine, you are to be in charge of organizing people to register for the mangrove planting. But I'm realizing that we are targeting 100 people, or we are targeting 50 people, but I can only see that only 30 are registered. So I think you should also work on it so that we can have the 50 people. So Marine will always, when you remind Marine, will also make sure that he's working hard to actually making sure that the people are registering for it. Or we say that so and so was in charge of making sure that the people will get the resources that are needed. For example, the tools that are needed for us to do the beach cleaning, the sacks and everything that is needed. Or maybe for so and so you're organizing how water will arrive here. So you arrive in the beach cleaning, then you realize that the snacks have not arrived. And when it's time for almost people having their snacks. So you need to work with the person who is in charge of it to make sure that the snacks are there in time. You see? So that's something that you need so to work on it. So adjust it every now and then. No, so don't wait until the D-Day is when now you adjust. No. Always adjust it each and every time. If you find something is useless, remove it. If you find something is complete, check mark that it's complete. And I think if you work on those 6 items, everything will work on it. So those are the 6 steps that you need to work on when you're writing your work plan. So here's a question I want you guys to answer so that I know if you guys were listening to me. Yeah, I want to see if you guys were listening to me. So according to you, which answer is correct here? A scenario is this one. The environment docket wants to plant 100 trees. They write in their plan a task. For example, the task is plant trees. Honor everyone in the docket. What's wrong with this plan? Anyone who can try? I know I have answers by the way to this question, but I think it's more interesting if people can try without me giving the answers. Then I will give the answers people to choose from. I prepared the ABCD question, but I think that one won't be best. Let me see people trying it before I give the ABCD answers so that you can choose the best one. I want you guys to try. So we have got the environment docket. They want to plant 100 trees. Then in their work plan, they have written that the task, plant trees. Honor everyone in the docket. What do you think is the problem with this work plan? Anyone can try. Marine, I think Marine wants to try. Marine, try.
Where?
Yes, where? They haven't included where the planting is going to happen, right? Something else?
Also, as you're going.
That what? Hello? Yeah, resources are also not listed.
Deadline.
Dennis, I can't hear you. I don't know. Maybe I have issues with my ears or what, but I can't hear you. Yes?
Deadline.
Yeah, the deadline, by the way, the deadline is not there. Yeah, true. Okay, good. You guys, I think I can see bright people in this room. Wow, that is great. So the first thing is that no deadline was set for the task. Another one is that no single owner is assigned. Everyone means no one. Another thing is that the goal of 100 trees is not specific enough. And then the last one is that they don't have enough volunteers. So what do you think? Oh, I know some of these ones are also applicable, but yeah, only two of them are applicable, kind of. But I want to know, what do you think is the most stable answer to this question? Anyone can try. Is it A, B, C, or D? You guys, you can try. You can try. You can even send a text message. Is it A, B, C, or D?
A.
A. Another one? Okay, from my perspective, I find that B is the most big issue here. Okay, the first option is no deadline was set for the task. The second one is no single owner is assigned. The third option is that the plan of 100 trees is not specific enough, and then the last answer is they don't have enough volunteers. Okay, good. I've seen someone has okay, Vanessa has raised her hand. Please let us know. Yes, we are waiting for Vanessa.
Hi.
Yes,
Good
hi.
evening, everyone. So, according to me, okay, all answers are correct. But at least for the no single owner is assigned, at least on that day we can plan. That is just according to me. But the fact that we don't have a deadline for the task means that we are running blind. So I think that for me would be the first thing that I would actually correct with the work plan that is in place.
Okay. Yeah. According to Vanessa, she thinks that no deadline is the biggest problem. Okay, good. I've seen someone has said B, Faith CD. Why? Tell us. Why do you think B is the biggest problem? Okay, because we don't have to waste time. Okay, let's continue. So for me also, B, I think this the answer is B. I think B is the biggest problem here. Always make sure that each and every task in a work plan, it has got an owner. As I said when I was presenting, I said that when you break down a big goal into tasks, you make sure that each and every task has got an owner. That one is a very, very important thing, because if a task doesn't have an owner, people will always. Have you ever never planned? Or maybe you haven't, but I've always seen plans where plans are planned. When you ask who is in charge of this, people will start shifting the blame. Say that so and so was supposed to do it. So and so was supposed to do it. So and so was supposed to do it. Until it even comes back to you who said so and so was supposed to do it. So that is usually what happens. It will be like a circle kind of game. So for you to achieve something, you make sure that you have person in charge of it. That's why when they were creating the club, they said that the Docket team entrepreneurship should have a team lead, team orphan support should have a team lead, all these ones. Because if you don't assign someone on a specific task, that task may probably it won't happen. Because when you want to plan for an activity and you don't assign someone to it, for example, let's say that we are planning for a tree planting we are trying, just the way I used an example, the tree planting. Then we wait on the deadline on the day. So today you are going to do it on this Saturday, and it's Saturday. Then the chair, the same Vanessa, our chair, now he starts calling people saying that, Marine, where are you? I want you to organize people to go to. I want you to organize people. You want to text people so that people can go to Mazingira Beach for the tree planting. You will call Marine, you realize Marine is not available because Marine thought that maybe someone else will do it. You call Faith CD, she will be available, but she tells you that for me, I'm in Malindi, I'm doing something in Malindi. You can pick someone else. You call so and so because you did not plan them in advance. But if you have someone in advance knowing that even 1 week earlier or even 1 month earlier, that in this activity, I'm going to be in charge of organizing people to go to Mazingira Beach, or I'm going to be in charge of this, it makes that activity very simple. So that one is something that you need to work on. You need to make sure that you work on that. Never assign everyone to a task. Make sure that every task has got an owner. Every task has got someone who is going to do it in advance. Because if you say that you're going to do it on the same day that you're going to do the activity, things won't happen the way they are supposed to happen. So okay, according to me, that's what I'm going to say. According to me, from the experience I have organizing events and the events that you have been happening, I've always seen that issue. When you don't have a specific person for something, things always don't go the way you are supposed to do. So we usually shift the blame to others and say all those things that are, even things don't work out because no one is in charge of it. So the biggest problem is here, because if the deadline can be discussed among yourself and say that we're going to do it on this day. Yeah, so you're going to do it on 31st of maybe, for example, September, something like that. But or maybe on the 5th of September, something like that. But if we don't have someone who's going to be in charge of that activity, it will never run. We reach the deadline. You are planning to have 50 people. You only have 5 people who have signed up because no one was to follow up people during that whole 1 week or 2 weeks for them to do that. For example, like you also plan for orphan support. People are supposed to contribute 200. Then you don't assign someone to be in charge of reminding people to send their 200. The deadline will reach. It reaches the deadline. You realize that only 2 people have sent the money when you are supposed to have at least 100 people sending the 200 shillings or the 100 shillings. Yeah. So that one is very important. Okay, good. So now, as we are coming to the end of our training, so you need to make sure that for every successful event, these are some of the things that you need to keep in mind. The activity planning happens everywhere, not only in the club. As I say, that this training goes beyond even the club. It goes even to your own personal life and even to your own career or your entrepreneurship or whatever you are going to do. So a great idea without planning surely dies. So they don't just be 100% sure that any great idea that doesn't have any planning, it comes to sometimes and it dies. I've had so many business ideas in my head, but most of them died. Only those business ideas that I've always sat down and write the plan are the ones that usually comes to be seen by people. But most of them that I usually have, they usually die. So it means that every time you don't write a plan for something, you'll have it in your head. You'll have it to even be in your head for almost a whole year, but at the end of it all, you will never do something about it. So that is something that you need to work on that. So the good planning turns a dream into something that people can talk about. Yeah, currently you always feel proud when you work around something and then you hear people talking about something that you did. Yeah, because you did it. It came from it stopped being a dream immediately you executed it. So when you start executing it, you need a plan, and you need to write a plan for it to happen. So those ones include the venue and logistics. You need to make sure you are doing that. Where, when, how many people will be attending. The transport, if it's supposed to have a transport, for example, like the tree planting and everything, usually you have to ferry people to those places. And also the setup need that is needed. Any setup needs, make sure you include. So venue and logistics is very, very important when you are planning your activity. The roles, as I said, very, very important. By the most big issue I've identified in activities are usually roles. Roles and the teams in charge of everything, every activity or every action. So make sure that you do that. So who is going to be the MC? Who is going to be in charge of registration? Who is going to do the setup? Who is going to be the photographer? Yeah. Who does what on that day? Or who does that during that week? Because some things goes even before that day. Example like things like registration or people signing up or people sending them money or anything. It goes even, it usually starts even before the same day. Also make sure that you do that. The roles and the teams in charge of each and every activity. The budget and the resources that are needed. Make sure that you include there. The estimated costs. How much is going to be needed? If you are to buy biscuits, how much does it cost to buy those biscuits? If you are to buy pens and stationaries, how much does it cost to do that? If you are to buy seedlings, how much does it cost to buy those seedlings? Identify the funding. Where are we going to get the funding? Are we going to get the funding from the clubs, clubs bucket, or are we going to get resources from an NGO or a CPO, or where are we going to get the funds? Make sure that you track that one. And also you track every expense. How much was used to buy the seedlings? How much was used to buy the pens? How much was used to buy whatever that was bought? You track all those expenses. That one is very important in resource and uh, the budget and resources. There's something else that the communication. Communication usually helps a lot because through communication is when you realize what is happening and what is not happening. So how can we reach your audience? Is it through posters? Is it through WhatsApp? Is it through the notice board or anything? If it's WhatsApp, if it's creating posters, then distributing the posters to people, or is it sending personal messages to each and every person? That one is supposed to do that. And also by the sending text messages is usually very simple. So that is something you need to keep in mind. Then you are also supposed to do this, but because of time, I see it's already 9:18, so you're not going to do it. But you are supposed to do this. I was supposed to name one club activity that it did not go as planned. I know you guys, you can think about it and give us examples of those activities that you wanted to do it, but it didn't go as planned. For example, like this training. This training was to happen a few days ago, but it didn't happen. It's just a good example that I can use. Yeah, I think the good that it has come into my mind. So it's supposed to happen long time ago, but it didn't happen. So it means that there was an issue somewhere. So you can think about it. You can think about it and tell yourself, what do you think was the problem, or what was done differently, or what could be done differently for certain thing like this one not to happen again. Because you find that an activity is planned, but at the end of it all, it doesn't happen because of some of the things that are not working, or someone is not do it, or maybe the resource that were needed was not available, or maybe communication was a problem. So those are something that you are supposed to do, you are supposed to think, and you're supposed to share. But I know we don't have time, so we won't talk about it. Next time, let's plan so that we can start early, so that we can have enough time to do this training. I'm just rushing out, but this training was supposed to take more time. We're just trying to rush it out so that we can finish it in time. But it was to go beyond this. Okay, good.
Hello. Am I the one with some network issues?
Zipatiana. What's the problem?
Dennis, you're saying?
Simpati the plan.
Hello, can you guys hear me? Hello.
I think now we can hear you.
Oh, okay, good. So I was saying that these are the 8 things that you need to consider when you are writing your work plan. You define your purpose and expected outcomes of the activity. You set the date, time, venue of the activity, and confirm everyone who is supposed to be there, the availability of each and everything. You also need to make sure that you create a budget estimate and identify who covers all the costs that are supposed to be there, and also assign the roles. Who is the organizer, who is the MC, the logistics, the person who will be in charge of buying the things that are required, everything, including everything that is required for you to access to do that one. And also the next thing that you're supposed to also do is you draft a program. It's kind of a minute schedule. And also the 6th thing is that you communicate to participants at least 3 days before. Make sure you connect, especially by the people who are in charge of anything. Those guys who are in charge of any activity. Talk to them 3 days before that activity. Then prepare materials, like the banners, in case we need a banner, the registration sheets, the equipment, and everything for that activity. Then the next thing that you need to hold a debrief after the event, what worked and what did not work. So every time tukishamaliza event, mnakutana kama leaders, wewe mtu wako in charge of it, unawaelezea, unawaambia ni nini ilifanyika na nini haikufanyika. Alafu nakisha kwamba unaweza kuangalia. Yeah, so that is something that you need to keep in mind when you are handling the works. So these skills can be applied beyond the club. So it is something that you need to keep in mind for employers, investors, and everything. So in your job, for example, in your job, the managers, you can also apply that one. You also can also apply when you're starting your business. For example, like the business plan. A business plan is also a work plan. So investor funds and everything. And also other things that are personal goals. For example, like saving money, building a house, completing a degree. Same planning, same framework. It applies to everything in your own life. So apply the same SMART goals and all the things we have talked about today, the activity planning, and I'm sure that's going to help you achieve what you want to achieve. Okay, then also for community impact, the best NGOs and community projects start with a clear plan. So if you have got a clear plan, it helps you to create the best project. Yeah. So the docket you are working in, any docket you are working in, if you are working in the docket you are often support, it will train you in a way that in future, if in case you want to start an NGO or CBO that deals with orphans, you know on what you're going to do and how you're going to organize your events. If you are working in entrepreneurship, you need to make sure that it's training you in a way on how you're going to run your business in future, or your group or your entrepreneurship empire in future when you finish university. If you're working in education, you need to make sure on how you're going to do everything. So every docket is training you on how you're going to be a big leader or a ring leader in that specific area that you're working with. And also that is something that you need to do. So we are also supposed to do this activity, but because of time we want to do it. We are to imagine that you are launching a business in Kilifi. You write a sentence, a 1-sentence SMART goal and one first action step for each one. Then you are supposed to share in the group. But because of time we want to do that. Yeah, but also go think about it. So you're also supposed to know your roles. I think you already know who is the person who is in charge, what the chair and the vice chair, their work, the secretary, the organizing secretary, the treasurer, and the docket leaders and teams, and also the members. I'll share with you the slides so you can always go through it and see on the roles that I've written here. But these are some of the things that you can work on when you're working with you're working as a leader in that club. And also, this was supposed also to be a 10-minute work plan, but because of time, you won't do it. But you can just screenshot and then you'll work on it. You write your docket, you write your SMART goal, you write the 3 key tasks for that goal. Then you write who the owner is for each task. For this one, you include, if it's an orphan support, you include who is going to be in charge of what and what and what. Include everything until even the photograph of that event. As I said, every activity needs a report. So make sure you also assign the photographer and everything. The person who is in charge of logistics, the person who will be in the MC, the person who will be in charge of anything that's supposed to be there. Make sure that you write there. Then you also write there the deadline, you write the resources that are needed, and how we will measure and know that this activity was successful. Make sure that you also write it there. And then that one will be how you're going to do it. So you are supposed to do this and then present in the group, but because of in the room, but because of time, you are not going to do it. Yeah, just keep in mind that one. Yeah. So these are the things you're going to take home. You can just finished. So I just want to show you. Then you can just read through it as I welcome our chair to tell us what next as we finish. Thank you so much for your time. God bless you, and thank you for listening to my presentation.